just your camera, microphone. Is this better than Microsoft Teams?
So no, that's the answer. It's basically Microsoft. The only thing for Microsoft Teams is limited to internally. There is a thing called Teams Live, which is really good, but I checked my team don't have that functionality within the trust, so I think it's something they are looking to do.
But you should see me. You're backstage.
Yep. You're right in there.
Yeah, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work through anything else.
You're in the show.
Can you hear me via the stream? Okay.
Yes.
What I'm going to do is
come off the Teams.
yes, yes, do. Okay, so I'm off Teams.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, and where's Pooja?
Pooja, so are you able to get your camera working now at all?
I'm just trying. I couldn't even get it on Teams. Let me come off Teams. I'll close it.
So anyway, what I'll do is while that's there, I'll chat you through the platform. So as you can see basically the three of us. I'll have the ability to mute. So if you want to do it at the base, so I think the format's going to be is Karuba, you'll kind of be hosting it essentially. I'll be turned off, so I'll basically
like that. Okay.
I don't think we need that much of a close-up.
No, I think
unless you're photoshopping and filtering, okay?
I think when 3 people are there, it will be smaller anyway. So yeah, that's great. So how does it work? So I say like, okay, right, I can say like, hi Shiv, welcome for the event. And I think the first question would be appropriate for you to answer. The person is asking about the care provided in the stroke unit. So floor is yours. And then can I mute myself? Is that right now?
I think we must have lost Nail.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Because he can't speak to us perhaps when he's
I can't screen. Okay, so sorry. You can see something which says chat on your right-hand side.
Yeah, that's chat and the private chat down on the bottom.
Yeah, so basically what will happen if the software works perfectly, there's some other stuff I need to get set up, which it isn't working at the moment, but I'm going to get it sorted. You'll basically have any chat comments or questions or anything will come in via this as a feed. So it will say basically their name, if the question's been asked via Facebook or YouTube, and it will just have details of the question. So I'm happy to be in there just behind this. If there's anything which is just a bit irrelevant, I can you can see this type of message, I can respond to it directly, which I'm very happy to do. But that's basically how you can kind of keep track of questions when they come in via that, essentially. I'll try and have some dummy questions ready to go. So I'll basically have a few accounts that I'll be asking questions via, essentially. So I can go like, hello, like that. So hopefully you can see something that would.
What's the stroke? Yeah.
Something like hopefully it'll be a bit more of a more interesting question than that. But essentially that's what you'll kind of see. You can see where there'll be an icon saying this is coming via Facebook or this is coming via YouTube or YouTube somewhere, so you can see who they're from, and it'll tell you, hopefully, unless they post anonymously, what their name is as well.
Okay, right. And there is a private chat bit as well. So that's to say a type of message. I say it looks like a tricky question. So who's either?
I can see that.
Yeah, so exactly. So say there's something's happening behind the scenes. So say Pooja, for example, or there's something else that you've joined, but you're having a bit of an issue with your camera.
But not on the day. I'll sort that
That's
out.
I mean, at the moment, it's not that bad, because if we can hear you, it means the public will be able to hear you as well. So if worse comes to worse with the camera, as long as we've got audio, that's completely fine as well. But yeah, basically, if we've got any questions or anything you don't want to basically go public, but you don't want to announce, private chat is exactly what that's for. So you could just go, I really hate that commenter or something. Something like that. You could post something. I
should tell each other if it's too close up.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
maybe try and avoid doing that, just in case, because I know me, I would make that mistake and do that, post that into the wrong chat. But it basically means you can do that if you need to do that for it. Yeah, exactly. That might be a good
Yeah.
I think I might have already had one.
So, like, that's good, because I'm saying, so that won't be appearing on the.
Sorry, I was just playing around with the things while you're talking.
With the things, is it? So would it be easy? Like, do they have an option when someone speaks that screen automatically becomes larger or something? Do they have it?
I'm going to see if there's a way we can do that, because that's what we kind of want to do, is make that the primary one. So off essentially, but
yeah, I think you will be able to do that. I don't think I can do it, right?
So yeah, what I'll probably do is I would basically say I'm going to have it that I'll basically, if it was just me talking, I basically just have everyone else off for a second, and then say so in this situation I'm you, Karuba. I'd go, okay, I've got a question here. It's for Karuba.
Great. Yeah. So where is that control, Niall?
I'd say leave that control to me. So okay, I'll do that behind the scenes, so you don't have to worry about that.
That's
so
fantastic.
Everyone on, I'll have you all off except Karuba beginning. Karuba, basically just let me say the name of who it wants to go to. One, so then they're aware, but also I'll go, great, I'll get that person in.
Oh, great. So when I'm chairing, if I say like, oh, Pooja, I think this question is about stroke recovery. Would you like to answer this one? And then, like, you can just get Pooja on the screen. Yeah. Or when I say Shiv. Yeah.
Shiv will be going for coffee.
So Neil, it's between 5 and 6. Does it block us out totally? Does it just stop after 6 o'clock?
No, so it'll be a manual.
Will it go on if we're answering? Okay.
If we need to go over, we can go over. I think it won't be super busy, so I don't think we'll feel a need to go over.
Yeah.
But I guess the key thing is, if we do run out of questions, feel free maybe open it up as a discussion. So if there's any points that you think are really good, so if you kind of go, okay, we're out of questions, but one thing we haven't talked about much is like stroke recovery, then you can kind of open it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Karuba, if you want more than one person on screen one time, just say their names and I'll make sure everyone appears at the screen.
Okay, yeah. So we could have the panel on the screen or something like that.
Exactly.
So yeah.
So the only two things I'd also recommend are, one, if you could try and join 5 minutes before, just as a quick, that's great. But if you can't, but try and join at least a minute or so before.
I think we should probably make it like, we will join 5-10 minutes before.
Yeah.
Because I think we could make it like we definitely need to, because this is always, having
There's
been on
technical problems as well. And trying to get links and cameras working. So yeah, I agree.
Exactly.
So, I'll be joining a little bit before. There'll be a different link I'll send to you, so I'll send it to you about half an hour before. I don't know what's the best way for me to get it to you in terms of if I was to send it a little bit before for your guys. I'm happy to do different ones for different people. If some of you prefer Teams, if some of you prefer email, or
for me, email, please.
Probably email,
yeah.
Email's fine, and then that will take us straight onto Restream, will it? So you'll send us a link.
Same thing as this.
So we'll just omit Teams out of it then on the day.
Yeah, so you don't need to keep this this link you've had here. You'll get a new link essentially, which I'll send you. And that gives you the ability to join just like now. As you can see, you don't need to set up an account, which is one of the reasons I chose this, because I didn't want you guys have to log in, create use, like that's just a nightmare. I guess the other thing is, Karuba, you need just maybe one thing to have a think about is just how to introduce it over the next couple of days, because once it goes live, it'll kind of go, hi, you know, and then maybe each of you, you introduce each person. I'll kind of turn on the cameras for each person at that point. And
okay, yeah, no problem. Yeah, I think it's a brief welcome, and just to say, you know, why is it important, and then after that I can introduce myself first, and then I'll introduce the panel, and and then I can say you can now ask your questions.
And you said you didn't want us in masks, didn't you, Karuba, if possible?
Oh yeah, because it will be easier without the mask.
Fine.
You know, it will be kind of less muffling of the voice. Yeah. So if you could find a place, if you're joining from hospital.
Yeah, I think I think Vinny is on a day off that day, so I can.
Yeah. And also, I'll have a different background as well, so be less noisy in the background. So
perfect.
Yeah. And will there be a bit of a time delay between the questions coming up, just so we've got some time to think? If there is something a little bit more in depth that we would need to kind of unpick, or can we just pick and choose, or say there's a slightly easier question that you think, okay, we'll do that one first rather than something. Sorry.
Yeah. No. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some dummy questions, and I'm going to probably add those as the starting questions, so you guys are prepared. So I might ask one which is stuff that you've already talked about. If there's anything you want to send me as a question you'd like to answer, like before, like in advance. So if there's like, here's a question I know the answer to, or here's a dummy question that's easy to kind of get me warmed up, feel free to send it to me before. I'll basically be in the chat as me, because a member of the public won't really know who I am. So I can go, hi, I've got a question about this. I think Sally or some other people from comms team also might join and just ask some questions in there about that. Okay. So if you've got any questions, send them over to me, but I will put in some simple ones. I'll try and send them to you before Wednesday, so you guys also have some time to kind of prep them. I guess I was going to ask you each, is there a preferred topics for each, when I'm producing dummy questions for each of you, that you would prefer to kind of, for it to be about vaguely, not specific, but is there any ones that's a question for you, Shiva, or Shiva, that's a question for you, Pooja?
I think the biggest question, well, it might not be for me to answer, but I think one of the really important questions to get across, obviously, because it's stroke awareness, is maybe the signs and symptoms of stroke, when to call an ambulance, because we always do have a bit of a delay for that. And it would be good maybe as a bit of an opener to just raise that as maybe one of the first or second points, which is part of, you know, why we're doing this. And it's, you know, important for the patients to get in from the community as soon as possible, not wait, not go to the GP surgery, not, you know, dial 111, just get in so we can do something about it.
I think, opening statement, you know, I'll give a bit of an introduction that every 5 minutes, one person has a stroke in the UK, and, you know, 2/3 of them are likely to be dependent, and every minute if you don't receive treatment, you know, something like 2 million neurons die. So that's why it is really important. It's a public health emergency as well. So we need to make sure people understand signs and symptoms of the stroke and be able to call for help.
That sounds great.
So something along that lines, and then that's why we are here. So we'll open the floor to your questions, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. And then, like, you know, I'll introduce. Then after that, you can kind of pick out questions and then in a more detailed manner, so that we can then talk about what are the symptoms, signs, and FAST, and, you know, the signs and symptoms that are not included in FAST, and all those things that they need to be aware of. And the important things, like, you know, we need to get across this age, you know, so people can ask, you know, some question will be like, you know, what's the common age to have a stroke? You know, can young people and children have a stroke or something, so that we can just start talking about there's no age. So even as young as, like, you know, 3 months old to 100-year-olds can have strokes, and we've looked after young patients with stroke, and the number of stroke is increasing in the working age group patients and sort of things actually. So there is no age limit. So we can talk about those things actually. So we can kind of divide it up a little bit, because talking about who can have stroke is like, I don't necessarily need to answer, so I might put it to you, Shiv. Then you can just talk about the people that we looked after, and because you can also say things like, because a 19-year-old, he called for help immediately, so that made a huge difference, and he was able to have treatment and be discharged, and that sort of things. And then we could have some sort of questions, Niall, if we don't have it, about post-stroke fatigue, post-stroke memory impairment, and so that I can direct those questions to Pooja. Pooja can talk a lot about the difficulties the patients might have after the stroke, and how can they. Is that right, Pooja? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, you just can't see me. I am listening.
Oh yeah.
But happy. I think we'll be getting across the importance of rehab quite early on post-stroke, importance rehabilitation can have on a patient's recovery. It's not just rehab, it's a specialist rehab. So being on a specific stroke unit where therapists have the specialist training can really enhance the recovery and maximise the potential. So absolutely, so I'll be touching up on some of the physical impairments that can, a stroke can, how it can impact a person. So that will be weakness, paralysis, in one side. I'll talk about the cognitive ability and fatigue.
Yeah. Fatigue is huge, and a return to work a little bit, and also I think from your end, Pooja, what might be helpful is to talk a little bit about, the questions should, if nobody asked, so where can I get help if after being discharged from hospital, how can I get help?
So
what support
I probably will go on to touch upon ESE a little bit at that point, as you, Gruber.
Yeah. And also signpost some of those, things that are available, like through social prescribing or just other organizations that they can tap into to help, to get help, actually. Because if it's a public thing, actually, they want to know, like, okay, right, how can I stop stroke? What should I do if I have a stroke? And now, you've seen me and you've discharged me. I'm on my own at home. Where can I get help? So we will have a questions around that, actually. If not, then I might probably ask that, or Niall can put it on the system and say, I've had a stroke like 6 months ago, I've been discharged, I have some symptoms, so where do I get help from? And so Pooja can step in to say, like, what help, just to have a look around, Pooja, to see where we can signpost them, like, locally.
And are we allowed to mention agencies like Stroke Association and obviously the ESD follow-up and things like that, or is that not something we're allowed to do for?
We can, but it's just about, like, people with, is there anything else, like, mainly that if they have cognitive problems, what can they do? Like, Pooja can give a little bit of a idea as to what sort of things they can do to mitigate the impact, or even to maintain the recovery or enhance the recovery a little bit, things that they can actually do at home.
Yes, I think that would be very much dependent on the clients. So maybe what I would probably at that point is a client-centered therapy treatment plan that we would, the therapist would assess. So that would be part of our therapy. We'd assess them and put in, an appropriate treatment plan in place. And then we generally do send people home with a home exercise program. So maybe that's probably when I touch upon it.
Yeah. And also, for example, if I'm a patient, I've had lots of people asking me, if there's no question, I would certainly ask this, actually. People are sent home with this program, and they always are not sure whether they're doing it correctly or not. In that scenario, is there anything else that it is available out there that can help them? Things like that, because because if you're a public, your concern would be more about, like, okay, right, thank you very much, you've done all these things to us, so I'm at home and I need some help here, like, because with regards to do we have any, like, professional websites where they show videos of how these things are done?
I think Stroke Association, as she said, is a very good website. we do have some cognitive things like memory games and stuff that we recommend.
Yeah.
So I can definitely touch upon some of the apps if it's appropriate. So not everybody has these devices, but certainly now with technology advancements, there is lots of apps that are accessible, and I can always just touch upon which ones there are.
Yeah, brilliant. I'm just kind of fleshing it out a little bit because these questions might be useful for public, because these are the questions we get asked in the outpatient clinics. So this is sort of the questions they might want to ask as well. So yeah. Great.
And how do members of the public access this group? Sorry, Niall, is there a link or something they join?
I'll send the links to you. I can send that to you today, essentially. If you want to share it out, that'd be fantastic. But we basically have a Facebook and a YouTube link, so people can there's a Facebook event for it, and there's a YouTube event, essentially. And so they either turn up a YouTube at the time it starts, or Facebook, and then it will start broadcasting live, essentially, for them. So I'll send the links to everyone here. So if you want to share them, that'd be fantastic. One thing I've just been doing while you were chatting, well, just to check, I can also put a image on screen, which is just as we start, which is, stream will be short, live stream will be starting in a few seconds, so we don't have to start bang on 5. So, or I can basically put the stream live a little bit before 5, but we have stuff kind of prepping in the background, essentially. So yeah, that all looks good.
Any interest at all so far? Perhaps not, like people sometimes.
We've had
questions you're all asking ourselves.
So no, we've had a few people. We've definitely. So let me have a quick look. So
even if we have about 5-6 people joining them,
again, yeah,
I'll make Clara join. It's fine. She's at work.
It's definitely an experiment. So there'll be a kind of thing of how it goes. So at the moment, we've got on Facebook 28 people who are interested in going. 5 have said they're definitely attending, and 23 of those have said they're interested, but that means they'll get an alert, but whether that means they'll turn up is another thing, essentially. And I think we've got about maybe 5 or 6 on YouTube. The main reason we're co-streaming on YouTube is it means when this ends, it will be published as a recording. So even if we don't get that many people live, there's still value in it post a thing, because then we've got a thing, even if and then that's where the dummy questions actually might be quite useful. So even if we don't get many people there, then that's fine. I'm going to do another push as well today on Facebook, so there'll be a big, this is coming on Wednesday, make sure you sign up and kind of look out for this. There's some stuff technically behind the scenes that isn't working quite yet, which I'm going to try and fix, essentially. So yeah, I'm going to see if I can get, basically it didn't quite, I wanted to see if we could do this test and I could show you it on YouTube as well, but it doesn't seem to be doing that. I have got it to work, so I just need to find out what I didn't click this time, but that'll be fixed for Wednesday.
Okay, brilliant. And
what dummy questions do you have at the moment? Do you have any at the moment that you said you...
I don't have any at the moment. I'm doing that today. So
Okay. That's great.
Email it to us beforehand, please.
I will, 100%. So I'll email them hopefully to you by tomorrow at the latest. If there's any you don't want asked, just come back to me, however, and just say, cross that one out, delete that one. More than happy to I'll try and do a bit of a wide range of stuff, but feel free to suggest any not, or add any in if you prefer how they might be worded.
Okay. Brilliant.
Okay, I won't keep up any more of your time. I think, Pooja, I'm not sure what's causing the issue here with your camera, unfortunately. We can hear you. So
I've actually just put in camera and it's saying this server's disabling me to access it. So I'm going to have to, I'll get my husband to have a look at it.
Yes, you need to go on your things, pop-up blocker, and then allow the camera actually. So it might be,
But Neil, can I access this from any device? So I might have to send it to my...
Yeah, so if you want to do it via your phone, you can absolutely do it via your phone or tablet or anything. So you don't have to use the device you're on now. That link will work for anything, and I'll send you one beforehand. So feel free to try it via any device.
Yeah, I'll forward it to my personal. Yeah, so that's great to know. It can work from any device there, because I think it's just not letting me access it today for some reason.
Yeah, it might be just as a specific device setting or something. That's normally what I find is the case. As you can also see, you can mute and turn off your camera at any point. So if you need to turn off your camera, feel free, to hit the buttons underneath the screen that say disable camera or mute. Similarly, I can change your volume. So I'm trying to show me, but as you can hear me speaking, I should now go very quiet. You can
yeah.
So don't worry about audio levels and stuff. I can adjust that behind the scenes.
So you've got a completely different screen with all these controls. That's brilliant.
Yeah, I've got basically my screen has all the kind of technical
funky stuff.
Stuff, so, yeah. But yeah, I won't take. I mean, thank you so much for taking time just to run through that.
Yeah, fantastic, great. So
okay.
So that's fine. So so BBC Berkshire hadn't got in touch with you, so we probably have to just park it. If they come, then we will see like if we can do it or not, because the time's running out as well. So but even if they come back for next week or something, we can always adjust and see that. Okay, great. Thank you. Shiv, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to then join the same meeting from
Teams.
From Teams, so that because Shiv wanted to talk to me, so that's fine. So we can discuss. Okay,
that's fine.
Great.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll see you on Wednesday.
See you guys.
See you. Bye bye.
Thank you.